Whoa, Wazam. Today's video is on this shootout between a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old white kid. If you new here, what we do here is read, listen, watch, and we block talk, break things down. And I want y'all to understand how people have every caution in the world. When it's not a black kid, if it ain't a black man or woman, they have every precautionary measurement possible, people. And this is my first time seeing this full video, so I'm reacting to it with y'all. The reason I ain't go with the video I was gonna air because I ran into a lot of problems streaming. You understand me? And I don't like to make errors. So we gonna watch this live and break it down. If y'all see any problems, let me know. You know, if you can't hear me too, let me know. If you can't hit this screen, let me know.
Layla, can you walk us through this? Yeah, Kate, this is a 9-minute video. It's a compilation of clips from 8 different deputies released by the sheriff's department here. And it walks us through what it was like from the deputies' perspective, from having to hide behind a tree when they were fired upon to their attempts to de-escalate the situation.
Already, y'all, they letting you know, oh, the police went through so much. They went through every precautionary measurement. Yeah, they did. But you know why they did as well. That's because the kids was white. They wasn't black, because guess what? Tamir Rice and them, if you got a orange plastic gun, you're getting shot to death. If you Breonna Taylor, they gonna shoot through your window and murder you. You understand me? Y'all understand how they operate, but right now, oh, we about to let you know what it was like to be an officer, how they had to hide behind a tree. Oh, them officers went through so much, huh? That way they can use every precautionary measurement for a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old white boy and girl. You understand me? Not a black boy and girl, because they're gonna shoot us with a knife in your hand. What her name was, I don't even want mispronunciate nobody's name, but the girl had a knife in her hand, y'all, and they shot her to death. You understand me? And y'all, I'm learning this little stream, you dig, as we go. So let me know if you can't hear something, you dig. If you can't hear this, or if you can't hear me, or whatever, let me know. Let's continue. You are witnessing the Rebel Network.
I have to hold my cover, stand by.
This police body camera footage shows a disturbing scene in Central Florida Tuesday night.
Juvenile male looks like he has something in his hand as well. They're at the back sliding glass door on my side, which would be facing the 3. Shooting out the rear window toward my direction. Stand by.
Look, let's stop right there and break something down. You notice how he call out every last thing when it's involving them. Don't y'all notice that every time it's a black victim that's murdered by one of these people, all the footage disappear? Are we getting the most edited footage in the world? 20 seconds. Getting 20 seconds of footage. But with them, oh, he reported it. He called it in, everything, huh? Every shot, he called it in. Know how they operate. Let me know if y'all can't hear this sound, man.
The Volusia County Sheriff releasing an edited compilation of the standoff he says started after a 14-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy ran away from a children's group home.
The call was that a 12-year-old who is a diabetic and needs medication every 4 hours or so had walked off campus with the 14-year-old.
According to the sheriff, the teens broke into this house and allegedly used an AK-47 and shotgun discovered inside to open fire on officers.
Wow, y'all heard that? So they committed burglary. They committed burglary and everything, and they got every precaution in the world. They broke into the house and had an AK-47 on them, a shotgun as well, and immediately started firing at the police. No hesitation, y'all. But your kid can't even brandish an orange gun or a knife, they gonna murder you. Or show up to your house with a fake warrant and shoot through your window, y'all. You know, we just got to have a digital imprint, y'all, that everybody didn't go along with what they saw from mainstream media. CNN is not your friend, people. CNN is not your friend. They're the same people who talk about black men and women like a dog. You understand me? Welfare queens, black man a criminal who can't keep his genitals in his pants and this, that, and the third. You understand me? These people not your friends, but you gonna start listening to Block Talk News. You are witnessing a rebel network as we break this down live. I ain't even see the full video, y'all, but they already making excuses for the little white boy and girl. Y'all heard them? Oh, they was in a foster care home and they wasn't taking care of them children right. Y'all know I'm gonna run it back. You are witnessing a rebel network. Look, the excuses. Let's get to the little excuses, y'all. The poor children.
Diabetic that needs medication every 4 hours or so had walked off campus with the 14.
Medication.
According to the sheriff, the teens broke into this house and allegedly used an AK-47 and shotgun discovered inside to open fire on officers.
Female has a shotgun in her hand. Stand by.
Stand by, huh? Stand by.
Deputies working to de-escalate the situation.
I'm not sure if they're going to come to the front door or not. Stand by. Don't make me do this.
Don't make me do this. Let's stop it right there, y'all, because I don't want to get that flag crap either. As I check my audio, yep, look like everything right. If y'all can't hear me, please let me know. Anybody who can't hear me or this video, but you heard them, please don't make me do this. You ever see them do that when they murder your kids or your father or your uncle or your auntie or your grandma or your grandpa? No, they don't never say, please don't make me do this. The kids immediately, y'all, bust out shooting at the police with AK-47, y'all, after they just burglarized the house. Let's continue as y'all look at that. Please don't make me do this. Behind a tree, hiding and everything.
Don't do this. They look like they're going to try to come out. I will challenge.
After about 35 minutes, police say the teenage girl who was armed with a gun threatened to kill a deputy.
Stand by. Shots fired at me again. Shoot from my house.
Y'all heard that? Threatened to kill a deputy. She even threatened to kill them, and they still showing precautionary measures, huh? But understand, y'all, I'm not advocating that they go out there, you know, that anybody go out there and shoot the police, you know, or nothing like that. And I'm not advocating for the police to murder these children. What I'm simply pointing out, y'all, is that they know how to use precautionary measures when they need to use them. And when they need to use them is when it's not a black person, when it's a white boy or girl or a white man and woman. You are witnessing a rebel network. Let's continue.
Oh, man, I'll fire that round. Yeah, bring him up here. Stand by. She's got the AK and a shotgun. She's wrapping around the top of her neck. God damn it.
Wow, did y'all hear that? She got an AK and a shotgun and she wrapping it around her neck, letting y'all know. And remember, y'all, she already threatened them. Straight say, I'm gonna murder one of y'all. And then she put the AK around her neck. This girl prepared. This girl is fully trained and banging at them. And then, oh, they shoot. Oh, you heard them. God dang. Oh, please don't make me do this. If that was me or you, I know. But this is what you vote for when you vote for Joe Biden and the Democrats.
Shots fired again. Female now has a
All the Republicans.
Female now has a long
Look.
gun, so does the female. Stand by.
The teenage girl was reportedly shot multiple times by deputies and was in critical but stable condition, and the boy taken into custody uninjured, speaking to authorities about the situation.
And then when we question him, when it's all over, he tells investigators that the female made a statement that I'm going to roll this down like GTA.
You heard that? You heard that? When they questioned him after it was all over, because he was not harmed at all. Trust me, he was not. Let me see if I can make this a full screen, y'all. because you know he wasn't harmed at all. You understand me? He said after that, they interviewed this dude, and he said the female, who is 14 years old, a teenager and white, said, I'm going to roll this down like GTA, Grand Theft Auto. That's what the sheriff said. Y'all hear that? Wow. She threatened them, put a chopper, a AK-47 around her neck, banged at them, and said she was going to roll them down like GTA. But they still showing every precautionary measurement. And you know what I ain't hear yet? I ain't hear about the charges these kids have been brought up on in the past, possibly. What's her criminal record like they do Trayvon? Oh, he smoked weed that time. I ain't hearing none of that. Or Oscar Grant was this criminal. I don't hear nothing about the past. Right now, all we heard was the excuses. They was in a foster home, and the foster home just let him out, and one of them be taking his little dyslexia medicine or whatever kind of medicine he take, probably asthma or something. But you heard them, they done been threatened, banged at, and everything, and nobody murdered yet. Every precaution in the world. Cops getting shot at and everything, going, oh, don't make me do this, aiming at, don't make me do this, but they can roll up to a black man and shoot him in his front yard, y'all, while he's sitting in a car with his hands on the steering wheel. They could roll up to that man and shoot him 8 times, y'all. Wow. No precaution when it come to us, y'all. That's what's going to continuously happen when you vote for a Republican or a Democrat. None of them have your back. Let's continue to break this down. Remember, this is my first time seeing this video like that. Shout out to Tim Black, because he showed like a clip of it, and I said immediately, I'm going to check this out. Let's continue, y'all. And I'm learning this stream right here, too. You are witnessing the Rebel Network.
And then she started firing multiple times at deputies who were outside of the residence. They knew it was law enforcement, they said, and they were shooting to cause harm to law enforcement.
Wow. Nah, don't take that off the screen quick. Don't try to take that off the screen quick. Look at him. Don't try to take that off. Look, y'all. And then she started firing multiple times at the deputies who are outside of the residence. Look, they knew it was law enforcement. Wow. You know that they knew. They know that they knew that they was the cops and went and banged at them anyway, multiple times. And don't forget, she had a chopper, which is the reason that she burglarized the house. They had a chopper and, well, a AK-47 and a sawed-off rifle or something like that. And I think they had another handgun. After they burglarized that house, got the handguns, they immediately shot at them multiple times, as y'all could see. Wow. And don't forget, she threatened to roll them up like on GTA, Grand Theft Auto, threatened them and everything. Look at him. They knew it was us. Look.
And they were shooting to cause harm.
They were shooting to cause harm to law enforcement. But y'all, we could be sitting in a car with a knife. They gonna shoot us 8 times because they were scared. Or Oscar Grant could be getting off the subway unarmed and be cuffed and pinned to the ground and still get shot through his back, y'all. And we can watch somebody get fired, y'all. We could watch people keep their pension and everything, you did, because this ain't just talk, y'all. I'm tired of you people who like to say this just talk. If this was just talk, people wouldn't be moved. People wouldn't change the way they eat or change the way they think, people. You see how people reacting to Kwame Brown? Some people even mad because they've been saying stuff that he's saying now. I'm just glad that the message out there. But what it shows y'all is that words have meaning. Words have power. You are witnessing the Rebel Network. Let's continue to break this down. Shout out to Eric Melendez Battle. Shout out to JH. Shout out to Miss Monet, you dig, and everybody else who continue to support this channel. Let's continue. Remember, I'm breaking this down. It's my first time seeing this, and I'm learning StreamYard at the same time. Let's go.
No deputies were hurt in the incident, and an investigation is now underway.
Nobody comes to work to shoot and kill anybody. We certainly don't come to work to get into gunfights with 12 and 14-year-olds.
Hold on, let's pause that right there. He pretty amped, ain't he? We certainly don't get into, we ain't trying to get into it with no 13 and 14-year-olds. He is really amped up right now. Did you ever see a sheriff or any of them come out and say, I can't believe they killed this young man? He was a teenager. I know he was black. I don't care if you're afraid or whatever. You have to use precaution. He was a child. Did you see that for Tamir Rice? Did you see that for Trayvon? Did you see that for any of your children? The ones they don't even report people? But let's continue to break it down, you dig? Shadow ban me all you want. They gonna see it. They gonna understand me. Let's continue.
According to the arrest affidavit, both are facing several charges, including attempted murder on a law enforcement officer. You know, the sheriff, as you heard, he's passionate and he is very critical of the juvenile justice system. We spoke to the shelter.
Let's stop it right there. The first excuse, they mad at the juvenile justice system. You heard that? The first thing is they're mad at the juvenile justice system. They're in the juvenile justice system, the shelter, huh? I wonder how many crimes they committed in the past, or how many crimes that 14-year-old committed. Since she ain't Trayvon, ain't nobody looking into that right now. Ain't nobody saying, oh, they using a baby picture to try to make it look like this was a big time kid and really he smoked weed before. Remember that? Remember that? When I don't even see the 14-year-old or 13-year-old yet. And we all know Americans don't have a long attention span, so they probably don't even last through the whole 10-minute video, let alone however long I'm about to break this down. You are witnessing the Rebel Network, as we just heard the first excuse. Oh, the juvenile justice system and the shelter. Look.
We are right now, and they said that they feel overwhelmed and that the system is failing children.
Yeah. Layla, thank you.
See, it's the system, y'all. Them white kids, they being affected by the system, y'all. It's the system that failed them. But y'all think about this. Whenever they showing all of them crimes that's happening, oh, it's Chicago, it's the black on black, and this, that, and the third, y'all. Guess what they not saying? The system has failed these kids. Do y'all ever see that? These young black boys in Chicago, the system has failed them. Where are they getting these assault rifles from? It couldn't be the NRA or ex-police or law enforcement or ex-military that's selling it to them. It couldn't be these traveling gun shows. But let's continue, y'all, because for them, y'all, the system failed. But for your black kids, oh, they just criminals, y'all out there thugging and sagging and all of that. You're listening to that. But for them, look how they report things. The system failed them. You see them going in on their white. See, we got to hold white people accountable. Do you see them saying that? All you people who want, oh, see, you just trying to not hold black people accountable. We be so messed up. I can't hop on this and talk about how messed up we be. Because when they report in the news, you see what they say? They on code. That woman said the system failed. So how dare I hop on here and talk about black people? We so messed up because we ain't even listening to Kwame Brown. We stupid. We ignorant. Now y'all know we be taking this and taking that. Y'all know them people. See, I can't do that because look what they doing. The system failed our kids. It was the shelter. It was the juvenile justice system. Use your head, people, or don't be on here just talking. Let's continue.
Thank you very much for that. Joining me right now is CNN senior law enforcement analyst, Chief Charles Ramsey. Chief, what is your reaction to this body cam video and what we're hearing about how it played out?
Well, I mean, it's terribly sad. A 12-year-old, a 14-year-old.
Sad, huh?
I mean, they break in a house, they get guns, and they knowingly shoot at police that are responding. I mean, I think the police did a good job. Please don't get me wrong. The failure isn't on their part.
Immediately shooting at the cops. Let's continue. Oh, and the failure is not on the police part. That means he about to go into who part the failure is on so we can hear more excuses. Remember, I'm Block Talk breaking this down as we go and learning StreamYard. If you hear any issues, let me know. You are witnessing the Rebel Network as we break down the propaganda pilot CNN.
Look at the system, the juvenile justice system. I mean, they're in a group home, clearly.
You see, the juvenile justice system. That's the first issue. Oh, they failed them. Oh, they in a group home. The group home failed them too.
We know now they probably should have been in a more secure facility.
Oh, they should have been in something way more secure. You understand what's taking place here? I'm not just talking about this to be talking about it. I'm letting you understand what I'm trying to convey to you. That's that as soon as the news break, they instantly take up for their own. They instantly told us who fault it was. But when it's your kid, they look up the criminal record. They call up the school. Has he been in fights? What kind of a student was he? Tell us about the time you had a fight with him. Go find a witness. Oh, Trayvon smoked weed that time. Oh, let's put that everywhere. Oh, look what kind of picture Trayvon took this time. Come on, y'all. That's why we breaking it down. That's why I ain't just about to hop on here and say, now you know that black kid was just shooting at them people and messing with them police. You know you can't mess with the police like that. No, that ain't how we operate on Block Talk News. We real news. Now, let's get back into his little excuses for them. He ain't saying how to hold them accountable.
But, you know, they weren't. They were able to walk away.
Oh.
I don't know about their parents and what role they play. Well, it's certain.
So sad. Now he bringing up the parents. I don't know the role the parents played. You don't? Because you sure know who else fault it was. You sure know about the juvenile justice system because it's their fault and everybody else you did. But, oh, what role did the parents play? You didn't say, oh, the parents must not be stable anytime that they're in a juvenile facility, anytime they're in a group home. You know, they would have went in on some black parents. Oh, the parents must be negligent. They're not taking care of this kid. They would have said how his education was poor and everything. But with them, see, they quickly protecting their own and putting the system on trial. You are witnessing the Rebel Network.
There's breakdowns there in both the family as well as the juvenile justice system that led to all this.
Yeah. It was the family and the juvenile justice system. See, they talking about what led to this, y'all. They ain't talking about what just happened. We don't have time for what led to this, people. What just happened is that they saw those cops coming after they burglarized the house where they obtained an AK-47 and a shotgun and another handheld gun. And they immediately shot at police after what she said to him. Let me look that up. I think she said, I'm gonna roll them like GTA. Yeah, after she threatened them by saying, I'm gonna roll these cops up like GTA, y'all. The cops said they knew it was us and went to banging. The cop all behind a tree. Don't make me do this. Getting shot at and everything. That's what they do for their own. Why everybody want to point out, oh, that black woman, you know, she on welfare. Now she shouldn't be twerking with that baby, because that's what y'all ready to report. You ready to defame yours, but look what they do for theirs, protecting them, putting the system on trial. And look who they got helping them, the puppet. Look like he trying to scrub the black off of him. Let's continue. You are witnessing the Rebel Network.
Let me play a little bit of what the sheriff actually said about all of this to my colleague Allison Camerata yesterday.
And all I kept was going through my mind is, what are these deputies thinking that they have to return fire on a 12 or 14-year-old? You know, their moms and dads. I know some of them, their kids are that same age. And, you know, well, thank God nobody was killed.
You hear him? My bad, y'all. I just gotta stop it. You hear all of that? Man, we don't be trying to get into no shootout with no kids, man. We know people. We know these kids around here. We know their mothers and their fathers. Well, think about how we feel when y'all murdering our kids, murdering our mothers and fathers, shooting through their windows, killing them unarmed, choking them out, putting your knee on people's neck. Think about how we feel. But look at them, man, we ain't trying to get into it with no kids. We gonna leave out the fact that they burglarized that house, picked up some weapons, and tried to take our heads off after threatening us. And they knew it was us. Let's continue as he cried for the kids who almost murdered officers with an AK-47, a double-barrel shotgun, and a handheld gun. Let's continue.
Know what the residual effects are going to be on some of these deputies.
What?
Yeah.
The residual effect.
Sheriff, Chief.
Let's go back, y'all.
You know, their moms and dads. I know some of them, their kids are that same age. And, you know, well, thank God nobody was killed. I don't know what the residual effects are going to be on some of these deputies.
The deputies traumatized, y'all. They don't know what the effects gonna be on them deputies because they had to get into a shootout with some white kids. You ever heard that? And I gotta drill the point in because they don't do it for us. They don't come out and say how sorry they was. Man, we don't never come on the job and won't shoot Tamir Rice and them over some orange BB gun. Man, we ain't won't come to work and murder Trayvon because he had some Skittles. We ain't won't put our knee down on his neck until he died. George Floyd, they ain't never just come out like that. They ain't talk about the residual effect of the cops. The ones who witnessed another cop murder the man. Neither did they mention that for the one who murdered him. But for them, they was in a shootout. One of them in the hospital, still alive. I don't want to hear no it's critical. She's still alive. She ain't dead. And the other little boy's unharmed. He 12 years old. She 14. She's a teenager. You are witnessing the Rebel Network. Let's continue.
Yeah, I mean, and you know this, Sheriff, Chief. What do you think of that?
I know him. Well, first of all, I know Chidwood very, very well. He's from Philly originally, an excellent police chief. But he's absolutely right. People don't think about the trauma that police officers undergo in these situations. I mean, here you got a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old. Now imagine you've got a 12-year-old or 11-year-old and maybe a 15-year-old or so at home. I mean, do you really want to shoot that kid?
Let's pause it right there. They don't do that for us. They don't talk about the people who watch their kids be murdered, y'all. And we just gonna keep going because this is my first time seeing this video, so y'all could tell that I'm reacting to this footage. This is my first time seeing this. You did? They hiding all behind a tree, bro. Look, now they talking about the psychological effects. They not focusing on the crime like they do for what about black on black crime? Chicago, did they say that for them boys? Oh, they just shooting each other down like dogs. They ain't say the system or none of that, huh? Well, the juvenile homes is failing these black boys. They ain't say the educational system, they're failing these black boys. Or the juvenile homes. None of that, y'all. Or think about the traumatic effect that growing up impoverished has on these black kids. Do you hear him saying that? Or they never even talk about the effects patrolling through a black neighborhood have on certain cops. They never talk about anything sad. See, they saddening up the moment. Look at her face. I'm so sad. And him, I know the chief, man. He's a great guy. Nobody wants to shoot with kids. These kids were failed by the system. They ain't even reprimand the parents. They ain't even say the parents are clearly deadbeats. You know, anytime their kids are going through the juvenile justice system and living in a home, you know what they would have did for your kid. The parents are clearly a deadbeat. They would have went into it. Oh, Brian, Block Talk News, that was his father. The man was a deadbeat. He couldn't hold down a job. He was in the military one time, but somewhere he somewhere along the line, he went crazy. The man was a deadbeat, so his kids turned into deadbeats as well. The mother was strung out on drugs, you know, say anything. The mother was a welfare queen who laid up with any man. Boy, they'll drag us, bro. Y'all know I was just digressing, if that's a word, but I digress. You are witnessing the Rebel Network. I needed to laugh anyway, just to lighten my own mood as I go through this video for the first time, as I'm, you know, streaming through StreamYard for the first time, and I'm learning that too, you did. But remember, y'all, let's summarize the video. The kids burglarized the home. They picked up a chopper. They picked up a double-barrel shotgun and a handheld gun. Police arrived. The 14-year-old teenager said, I'm going to roll them like Grand Theft Auto. And they began to shoot at the police multiple times, who said they knew it was us. You are witnessing the Rebel Network. Let's continue.
But you may have to. And so those are the kinds of things that police officers can be confronted with. It's just not a good situation for anybody that's concerned with this.
Yeah, the system for sure failing.
Look, the system, y'all.
Exposed to that, hearing that all.
Again, the system. I wonder if we count how many times they mention the system in this video, what the end result would be. What would be the total? The system.
Officer just say, like, don't make me do this. Is just
look, don't make me do this. Look, y'all. Let's stop it just in case they try to flag me. She said, watching the officer say, don't make me do this. It's gut wrenching. Oh, gut wrenching. They only talking about the sad aspect. Because if them was black kids, they would have said, these kids almost murdered these cops. They ain't say that not once. These kids were armed with hundreds of bullets and they almost sawed off the heads of these officers. The officers were pleading in fear. If that was your kid, but let's continue.
I mean, the deputies out there, their moms and dads, they have kids.
Look, they got kids.
But I have to tell you, from our perspective, we get this thing called restorative justice thrown down our throats. Restorative justice is great for kids who are round pegged that you can fit into round holes. But how about the kids that are violent and suffer from different mental disorders? You can't put them in that round hole.
Mental disorders. We don't know anything about a mental disorder yet right now, y'all. But he throwing that in to do what? Protect his white boy and white girl, the white kids, like they'll do for the white man and woman as well. While some of y'all quick to hop on YouTube or whatever platform and say, oh, here go another black woman twerking. Oh, here go another black man dogging and cheating on everybody and all of that. You did? That's what y'all ready. Oh, these niggas is beefing again. That's what y'all ready to go report or something, huh? You did? Let's continue, y'all, as they protect their own. They ain't worrying about being fair and holding everybody accountable and being fair. They ain't saying, because nobody don't never hold white folks accountable for what they be doing. You are witnessing a rebel network.
They need to be in a secure facility, and some of them need
facility.
To be under constant supervision and getting constant treatment. When we were learning about the 12-year-old, that one of his foster parents had called and said that when he was placed there by the Department of Children and Families, nobody told her about his violent tendencies and how uncontrollable he was. As a foster mom said, I couldn't take care of him.
The foster mama, y'all. Now we got a hold of a parent. The foster mama called and said, nobody told me how violent this dude was, which means he been violent, y'all. They been doing stuff. Was they talking about the 12-year-old? Let's jump back a little bit. I wonder which one was they talking about. But either way it go, they said they ain't tell me how violent he was, what kind of temper he had. He been like this. Let's repeat that, y'all.
Tendencies and how uncontrollable he was. As a foster mom, I couldn't take care of him. I think that the system lied to me. This is a kid that needs intense help. He needs intense.
Let's pause it right there. He need help. The only thing I heard was he was violent, y'all. He was violent and had a temper. That's all I heard. I ain't hear nothing about him finding out about a mental disorder. Oh, he was violent and had a temper. You know where people go when they black and they violent and have a temper? They go to jail. Boy, girl, man, woman. They go to jail. Gay, straight, all of them. They go to jail if they black. You understand me? They go directly to jail. They don't get the mainstream media's help diagnosing them. We just heard him talk about they be people out there mentally unstable, and then we contact the mother and she said, oh, he violent and uncontrollable. I can't even be his foster parent. And look what he just said to us. See, the system, and the woman even said, oh, the system tricked her. The system failed her. Remember, y'all, there gotta be at least 20 times we heard system failure, y'all. Let's continue as they blame everybody else except for the violent boy and girl who straight up try to take these policemen head off with a chopper, a double barrel shotgun, and a handheld gun, y'all. Let's continue. Let's continue.
Intense counseling. He needs intense supervision. And clearly the system isn't doing that.
a failure, Sheriff. It's Jim Shootout here. How did these children, again emphasizing children, manage to get?
Oh, we know you emphasizing we know you emphasizing children because they not black. If they black, oh, Trayvon was a teenager. Why y'all using them baby photos? Remember that, y'all? Don't try to make Trayvon look like he was a child, even though he was a child. And look at him. Emphasis on children. Emphasis, emphasis, emphasis. But if it was a black kid who has shot somebody, oh, he's going to be tried as an adult. They ain't even talk about charges yet, y'all. See, remember, we breaking this down as we go. I ain't pre-watch this or preview this, but you know what I didn't hear? Charges, because we know what we would have heard if it was ours. First of all, they would have got shot, you dig? And if they had shot at police, you understand me? We would have heard the charges they was about to face quickly. Danger with a weapon, attempt murder, almost murder, every last charge in the book that they could find. In danger for a 12-year-old, they would have charged the 14-year-old for being with the 12-year-old. They would have charged up for probably kidnapping the 12-year-old, since they trying to say, oh, he just walked off the system with the female. I mean, walked out of the facility with the 14-year-old, so the system failed. They ain't talking about kidnapping charges, huh? Because that's what that sound like. She went to a government facility and took a 12-year-old out there. She walked out with a 12-year-old. How is that possible, y'all? But I digress. Let's continue, y'all.
That weapons cache, I mean, including an AK-47, literally a weapon of war. How did they manage to get their hands on it?
Yeah, let's back up and I'll tell you how it starts. It starts at 5 p.m. when the 12-year-old
they'll be dead.
Walk off of the non-secure juvenile home that they're living in.
Look,
the 12-year-old.
They walked off the non-secure home that they were living in. Every excuse, y'all. Let's continue.
Suffers from diabetes and he needs his insulin every 4 hours.
Pause that. He got diabetes, y'all. He got diabetes. He needs his insulin, y'all. So the insulin about to be the cause of why he ain't going to jail until he 18 or 21. But if it was your kid, life. Oh, you getting out when you about 25. I got a little cousin in there right now doing 30 years for armed robbery. Get out of here, man. Because he had a history and a record of being a criminal, huh? But not him. They don't even want to tell us the charges, even though they talked to the foster parent who said the boy was violent and uncontrollable, and she felt like they lied to her. They quickly, the system failed. Now, what the hell? How is this young boy who violent and uncontrollable, how was he able to just walk out of facility? Because he violent and uncontrollable everywhere, people. He don't just stop. Oh, I'm in a group home. Let me stop being violent and uncontrollable. Let's continue before I digress.
So when we get the call to runaways, that obviously in the call is, hey, this kid at any moment could have a medical emergency. So that's the auspice that starts us. The deputies are out trying to locate a 12-year-old and get him back to a safe house before he had the medical episode. Around 7, a couple.
We was trying to already look for a teenager who might have a medical episode. Understand, y'all, these people get calls all day. You think every burglary that's committed in that town, you think they responded saying it might be that teenager having an episode? Let's say 5 burglaries happened during that time throughout that county. You think they went to every last one of them? Hey, remember, we have a teen out there with an episode who might have an episode because he a diabetic. So being a diabetic gonna make him bust at the cops with a chopper in which he just burglarized the home to obtain. I know though, you are witnessing the Rebel Network. Let's continue as you think about how this could have been your kids in their dead, or if they captured them alive, how they would be facing 10 million crimes and how the media would report this. Let's continue.
Times we spot them, they run from us, and around 7:30, there's a real popular bike trail that runs behind that home. We get alerted to a young juvenile male, smashed glass and entered into a residence. And they come in, and when they ransacked the residence, they recovered the firearms that the homeowner had it locked away inside of his home.
You heard that? They even protecting the homeowner. Oh, they found the guns that the homeowner had locked away inside of his home. Locked away. They wasn't too locked away. What kind of lock was it? Because they was easily picked. There wasn't a master lock. What kind of lock was it? For them to obtain weapons to bang at cops and almost saw their head off. No charges yet, y'all. All we heard is excuses and that the boy got diabetes. Diabetes.
The homeowner tells us the AK-47 was disassembled. So we really want to know how they learned how to assemble.
Wow, look. The shotgun was disassembled, he just said. These kids was trained to go. Remember, he already explained to us that the female say, I'm about to roll these cops like Grand Theft Auto and put the chopper over her shoulder. What was she learning? I wonder what kind of videos she been watching. You think they're going to go into her internet history like they would do us? Tell us, what was she into? They said that it was disassembled. So them kids went up in there and assembled a shotgun. And that make you think about something else too. Teach your kids how to arm themselves, which I will be doing, with my little girls or whatever, because I think I've been dragging my feet because they is females. But first, be very safe, use safety measures or whatever you did, but teach your kids. But look what these kids went in there and did, y'all. Assembled a shotgun to bang at the police with. That's what they did. Let's continue. As they say that they don't know how they did it. You know how they did it. They was trained.
AK-47.
Jesus.
Hold on. Was it the AK-47 that they did? Hold on, y'all.
We want to know how they learned how to assemble the AK-47.
Oh, it was the AK-47. That means it was even more difficult than a shotgun, They went in that house. Not only did they pick whatever lock he talking about, they went into the homeowners locked away guns. It wasn't locked away unless they picked the lock too. Apparently, they know how to break locks too. They broke the lock and then they assembled an AK-47. Do it sound like we need to keep hearing the word, these children, this child, one of them a teenager, you understand me? This child, these children, children who know how to assemble an AK-47, huh? You are witnessing the Rebel Network. Let's continue.
Jesus.
Wow. What would you do, Sheriff? You talk about rehabilitation programs. We heard your emphatic plea in the Tuesday night press.
You already know, Sandra.
Who has had so much experience in policing, but
they would have killed our kids, Sandra.
Can I ask what you would recommend for the rehabilitation of kids?
Rehabilitation. Let me press pause, y'all. While I make sure that I give y'all a shout out for pressing like you did. Shout out to Eric Melendez Battle. Shout out to JH. I don't want to mispronounce your name. 8. Shout out to Jamarcus Hall. Shout out to YG Cool. Shout out to Sandra Burns, y'all, for coming through, pressing like and paying attention. This late at night, depending on where you at. But y'all heard them. They talking about rehab right now. Rehabilitation, still no charges, nothing like that, y'all. Still not holding the kids accountable, nothing like that. They ain't even mention the parents, how negligent they are. None of that, y'all. They even blame diabetes for all the black people. You know how they like to say, we got diabetes. Black people got so much diabetes and all of that. Next time anything happened with you, just say you was having an episode because you got diabetes. You got diabetes, so you had to, steal something. You got diabetes. You had to do this. You was having an episode. But let's go into rehab now, rehabilitation, because that's what they always talk about when they talk about black on black crime, huh? Chicago and the murders, New Orleans and the murders, LA, the Crips and the Bloods and the murders, and North Carolina, Florida, Dade County, and every hood they killing. Do you ever hear them say rehab? And especially if we get into a shootout with the cops, you will never hear the word rehabilitation. Yeah, here, 12-year-old black kids found dead today, after a shootout with police instantly. And if one survived, kid is being charged with kidnapping, all kind of possession of this, murder in this degree. Let's continue, y'all. Before I digress, you are witnessing the Rebel Network. Thanks for pressing like. Thanks for subscribing and all that. Y'all don't know how long I've been working on this to say I had to abandon the whole video that I had planned. It just went with this one and I'm reacting to it. Let's continue.
Proposals for fixing a system that you say is broken?
No, the broken system again.
The model has to be turned upside down on its
Broken
head.
system.
The bureaucracy needs to be blown up. There are good men and women that work in the Department of Juvenile Justice. There are professional people that work at the Department of Children and Families. But they're the ground level workers. They're the ones that have the solution. They see these kids. They know what programs work and what programs don't work.
Let's pause right there. Y'all heard that? Blow everything up, he said. They ready to blow everything up when one of their kids brush with law enforcement. He said, blow the whole system up. But I understand that there's still some good people out there who work at the ground level and they know what work. Look at that look on that man's face right there. Look like he about to cry. Those poor officers, the poor kids. No charges, no black on black this, no they past history. Did they get into a fight like they do with your kid? They ain't scraped the media yet like they do with your daddy, your mama, your grandpa, your grandma, and your sons and daughters. They ain't looked through their media accounts or none of that like that yet. You dig? All they did was hold a system on trial. We'll put the system on trial. You understand me? It's everybody else's fault. And they barely even blame the mother. They barely even blame the homeowner who had these easy access weapons that they claim was locked. Let's continue with the live Block Talk breakdown and reaction.
Sheriff, sorry to interrupt, but they did tell us this morning, Department of Juvenile Justice, this was not one of their programs, not one of their homes. But continue.
Well, they're not telling you the truth because what they do is they school.
He just said they lying. They said that is one of their homes. Wow. He said they not telling the truth. You heard that?
Juvenile that comes in contact with us. And then they decide whether they want to place them in secure custody or not. The female set 6 lots on fire, almost burned houses to the ground. She was arrested for arson. According to the Department of Juvenile Justice, that doesn't score out.
Did you hear that? She's been arrested before for arson. I wonder how long a black kid would have got for arson. But let's start back to that part about the program, y'all. Y'all heard that? Your boy straight said, well, they lying. The program people lying. Let's go.
And then they decide whether they want to place them in secure
No,
custody.
my bad. Let's go a little further.
They're not going to work. And what programs
They did tell us, Sheriff, sorry to interrupt, but they did tell us this morning, Department of Juvenile Justice, this was not one of their programs, not one of their homes. But
so the juveniles that was placed in the care of the system didn't even know what home the kids was in, or they sent the kids to a home that wasn't approved by them. If it wasn't the home of a government facility, how were the kids placed there? How did they get there? So that means that man is right. They lying. It was one of the government facilities that allowed a 14-year-old to walk out with a violent diabetic, 12-year-old or whatever. Now let's continue, y'all.
Continue.
Well,
I said
they're
that.
not telling you the truth because what they do is they score every juvenile that comes in contact with us.
See?
And then they decide whether they want to place them in secure custody or not. The female set 6 lots on fire, almost burned houses to the ground. She was
Oh, you heard that? See, that's why it's good to go over stuff over and over. That's what I do when I'm preparing a video. That way I don't miss something like that, y'all. Did he just say she burnt down 6 lots, almost burned down homes, and she's still walking the streets, y'all, to go break out a violent 12-year-old? Like on Problem Child. Did you hear that? But they not focused on that in the media. We just not hearing about that. The whole story was all about everybody else's fault. It's the system and everything. This girl walking around burning up everything and walking the streets. But ain't nobody talking about how much time she gonna get. Wow. Arrested for arson and everything. No, I'm gonna run that back a little bit just to drive that point home, y'all. We got to drive that home. Continue.
They decide whether they're going to place them in secure custody or not. The female set six lots on fire, almost burned houses to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
She was arrested for arson.
Yep, you heard it. Just to make sure, arrested for arson. Let's continue.
That doesn't score out as a serious felony, a serious crime. So they're putting these kids that are extremely violent into these low-level homes, and that's where the issue becomes.
You see how he quickly ended that with it's the system, though, right? He quickly still got back to it's the system fault. It's the system, y'all. But as I said before, if it was your kids that got these police behind here hiding behind a tree, let's go to the video. You did. Let me show y'all the video. Look at him all behind a tree. You think they'll do that for you? And why they reporting it, y'all? Do you hear them saying these kids were so wrong? Like some people like to hop on the internet and just disgrace black people. You understand me? If this was black people, they'll hop on it. Now they should have knew better than to be shooting at them cops, knowing what we going through out here. You hear that? Do you hear any of that tonight? No. Let's continue before I go in somewhere else. Look, y'all. Oh,
shows a disturbing scene in Central Florida Tuesday night.
Look.
Juvenile male looks like he has something in his hand as well. The back sliding glass door on my side, which would be facing the 3.
Reporting everything. Look, shot at. Bam. 2 shots. 3, 4, 5. Let's pause right there. That's 5 shots. I wonder at what point, y'all, did she say she was about to roll these cops like she on GTA? I wonder at what point did she say that? They've been shot at 5 times too. So at what point, matter of fact, how many times did that little boy shoot? The 12-year-old, the diabetic who was having a diabetic episode. How many times did he shoot? The uncontrollably violent one. I wonder how many times he shot, because y'all sure had a comfortable interview with him, huh? Let's continue, but we wrapping this up, y'all. Thank y'all for viewing and pressing like and everything. But we got to expose y'all this on so many levels. From the media level, CNN is not your friend. Goddamn, remember that. Don't ever believe them before black media, because me, all I give you is facts. Like this stuff just blatant to me. So while they reporting it, you know what they doing? Protecting their own. We heard them talk about so many times how the system failed them, y'all. It was the juvenile justice system. It was that the juvenile home they was in, and how the juvenile justice system let that little, well, that 14-year-old teenager commit arson over 7 times, about to burn down houses, he said, in 6 lots, y'all. And 6 lots. But you know how they reported that? The system. It was the system on trial. They ain't talking about her kidnapping a 12-year-old from a government facility, y'all. And the government laying up there and trying to cover themselves by saying, oh, that wasn't one of our homes that they walked out of. And you heard that, man? Well, they a lie. That man quickly said, well, they lying, because when you get charges placed on you, the government, you under the government care. So they have to be sure to know where they house you, because they're going to house you somewhere if it's not jail, which is where the arsonist 14-year-old should have been. And the 12-year-old who uncontrollably violent should have been. You understand me? But let's look at the video again for people who didn't see how he hiding behind a tree. He called it in everything. Shots fired, still hiding behind a tree. We're taking cover. All of that. Not with your kid with an orange BB gun, Tamir Rice, shooting through your window while you're unarmed Breonna Taylor, stomping all on your neck with their knee. George Floyd, none of that, none of that. No precaution for that. Let's continue. He even said, don't make me do this. Look.
The Volusia County Sheriff,
you see? Edited. Look, this the part I think.
After a 14-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy ran away from a children's group home.
The call was that a 12-year-old who is a diabetic and needs medication.
Quickly. A 12-year-old who are diabetic, not a 12-year-old who is uncontrollably violent, who walked out of a government facility. That if it was your kid though. But the first thing for him, a child walked out of he's a diabetic quickly. They ain't coming on here worried about a hole in their own accountable.
4 hours or so and walked off campus with the 14-year-old.
According to the sheriff, the teens broke into this.
Shut up and repeat that.
Who is a diabetic and needs medication every 4 hours or so and walked off campus with the 14-year-old.
According to the sheriff, the teens broke into this house and allegedly used an AK-47 and shotgun discovered inside to open fire on officers.
You notice in that part, she didn't say and assembled a AK-47 to shoot at officers on site.
Female has a shotgun in her hand. Stand by.
Now, if that was you, we gonna break this down as if it was one of us. Let's continue. It would have been immediately, put the gun down now. Bam, bam, bam. He wouldn't have got shot at. It wouldn't have been no reporter. She has a shotgun. Put the gun down now. Bah, 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 as he released. And let's continue. We're gonna break it down as if it was one of our own.
Deputies working to de-escalate the situation.
I'm not sure if they're going to come to the front door or not. Stand by. Don't let me do this.
Pause right there. If it was ours, he would have said, we're going to need backup. We need multiple squad cars. Please bring in the SWAT team, all the equipment that Joe Biden allotted us with his 1994 crime bill and all of that. We need all of the tanks, battering rams, or whatever we have to do. These black kids are armed, and I'm not going to be able to do this alone. Now, I know, don't make me do this after they done shot at him about 5 times. Let's continue. You are witnessing the Rebel Network.
They look like they're going to try to come out. I will challenge.
But after about 35 minutes, police say the teenage girl who was armed with a gun threatened to kill a deputy.
Stand by. Shots fired.
Black kid would have threatened to kill a deputy, y'all. You know what they would have did? Just like they did Christopher Dorner. They would have cut them cameras. And when they would have came back and clicked them cameras back on, you would have saw a full house on fire, burnt to the ground. Because I ain't forget about that. Remember Christopher Dorner? When all of a sudden they said, the cameras has just, every news station, the cameras just slipped off. We don't have a feed and all that. Oh, every last station, y'all all had a failure, huh? Everybody had some type of Wi-Fi problem. But everybody came back at the same exact time to show us a crispy burnt home with that man's body inside. I wonder how many times he threatened the police while he was inside the home, as they sent a robot in, they claim. Let's continue for I digress.
Fire at me again.
Fired at him again.
Juvenile male fired that round.
Juvenile male, the diabetic, the uncontrollably violent diabetic, y'all. Let's continue.
Stand by. She's got the AK and a shotgun. She's wrapping around the top of her neck.
You hear that? Wrapping it around her neck. Not only did she assemble that AK-47, but wrapping it around her neck because she got the training. She trained herself. And don't forget, she said she was going to roll them like she was playing GTA. Let's continue. Look at him. God damn it. He being shot at, y'all. God damn it. Oh. Let me pause that. If that was your black kid shooting at him, you think you would have saw him go, God damn it, these black kids shooting at, oh, I can't believe it. Don't make me do this. No. That dude would have been so serious. He would have been shooting so many rounds into that home. If they have hostages, all of them would have been dead. That's how many rounds he would have shot into that home. And you know I'm telling the truth. You are witnessing the Rebel Network. We summarizing it right now. Thank you for viewing, pressing like, and subscribing. All the real ones out there. Let's continue. Yeah, Sandra's unbelievable. Sandra Burns. My bad. Very much. Look.
Female male has a long gun, so does the female. Stand by.
That means One of them had a shotgun. Well, that mean the boy had a shotgun. So we know right now the diabetic or whatever, you know, the little baby diabetic with the uncontrollable violence, he had the shotgun banging at him, but they could interview him with a smile on his face. Let's continue, y'all.
The teenage girl was reportedly shot multiple times by deputies and was in critical but stable condition.
Critical but stable. How'd that go? Either you're one or the other. Am I wrong? Critical but stable. Critical, meaning you're about to die. Stable, meaning you're stable. You're stabilized. You're not going to die. You had a stable, you know, you got a stable heart rate. You good. We stabilized you. Critical but stable. You see? But these the people they rather say, this the real news. You fake news. You just be on here talking. Words have power. Words have meaning. For you losers who don't know that yet, let's continue. You are witnessing a rebel network.
And the boy taken into custody uninjured, speaking to it.
Taken into custody. We never get taken into custody when guns are involved. Let's continue. We summarizing.
And then when we question him
Look.
all over, he tells investigators that the female made a statement that I'm going to roll this down like GTA.
You heard that? Just in case you got to the stream late and you think I was just joshing. Y'all, the girl said she was going to roll them down like Grand Theft Auto. Yep. That game where you can take your own a rocket launcher if you want and just mow them down. You understand me? Let's continue because that's what she said as she was shooting at him. With Breonna telling them, you could just say, who is it? They busting the door down while shooting through the window. They ain't even say we're going to roll them down, nothing. Just shooting blindly. Tamir Rice, orange pistol, just walking with you're dead. I think her name was Nakia, but I don't want to say the wrong, y'all. Woman had a knife, murdered. And when they report on them, had a criminal history, was in an abusive relationship. He used to sell marijuana at anything they can find. He had a fight back when he was in 6th grade. Trayvon smoked a marijuana joint. Come on, y'all. Let's continue. No charges yet, y'all.
Multiple times that deputies who were outside of the residence, they knew it was law enforcement, they said, and they were shooting to cause harm to law enforcement.
No deputies were hurt in the incident, and an investigation is now underway.
Nobody comes to work to kill anybody. We certainly don't come to work to get into gunfights with 12 and 14-year-olds.
See, you never get a reaction like this when a black man, woman, or child is gunned down. We never see them come out and passionately say, this has got to stop. I'm the sheriff. We don't want this in our town. We don't come to work to shoot black men. This man shouldn't have died. You ever saw that reaction? Right or wrong? Right or wrong, y'all? You ever saw that reaction? Look at his mouth. He hurt that he had to get into a shootout with them kids. We never see that reaction, y'all. We never see that reaction for us. Let's continue. Because if you in denial at this point, you just don't want the truth. And you're still playing a game and voting, becoming a co-conspirator. I digress. Let's go.
According to the arrest affidavit, both are facing several charges, including attempted murder on a law enforcement officer. You know,
several charges including. Give us every last charge. Because if it was our kid, you'll be going through their tweets right now. You'll be defaming the parents and everything.
Are facing several charges, including attempted murder on a law enforcement officer. You know, the sheriff, as you heard, he's passionate and he is very critical of the juvenile justice system.
Critical. See, they're only going to talk about who at blame, who's at fault. Look, he critical of them. Not critical of this arsonist. The girl almost down, y'all, but we ain't gonna skim through the whole thing because y'all probably like, man, don't just, y'all probably tired of hearing me break it down. Look, the system, y'all.
Layla,
look, yeah. Look at her, yeah, the system, y'all. Joining me right now is a psychologist so we can talk about some more sad things and how the system failed these white kids. Even though, what about black on black crime, which is what some of you black people like to talk about. You don't hear these sentiments, huh? You don't hear the system let that black boy walk out. The system failed that little black boy. That's what got him on the corner trying to sell drugs. The system sold that young boy out. Matter of fact, these big record companies sold that young black boy out because they promoting that certain lifestyle that attracts the young females. So the young boy wants to do all the things that the rapper glorifies, the things that most rappers don't even partake in, like selling drugs or even doing them, some of them. They don't say the system failed. They ain't say big business failed. They ain't say Geffen, they ain't say Horowitz and all of the little names. They like to stop at the little victim level. They killed him, that's what it is. He's a murderer, black on black crime. But with that little white boy, it was the system.
Right now, CNN senior law enforcement analyst, Chief Charles Ramsey. Chief, what is your reaction to this body cam video and what we're hearing about how it played out?
Well, I mean, it's terribly sad. A 12-year-old.
Back to how sad it is. Thank y'all for watching. We just skimming through at this point. If you want, leave, goddamn it, you can. You understand me? But I'm just going through it in case I missed anything. And for anybody who just walked in, you are witnessing a rebel network.
You break in a house,
look,
they get guns.
And breaking a house, don't just glance over this. They broke in a house, burglarized it. They assembled a gun. They assembled an AK-47 and immediately begin to try to take officers' life. They break into a home and not for your kid. Let's repeat that. You don't get away with that.
12-year-old, 14-year-old. I mean, they break in a house, they get guns, and they knowingly shoot at police that are responding. I mean, I think the police did a good job. Please don't get me wrong. The failure isn't on their part.
Well, we ain't got you wrong.
Look at the system.
The system.
I mean, they're in a group home. Clearly, we know now they probably should have been in a more secure facility. But, they weren't.
So it was the system and the group home, y'all. Not the arsonist 14-year-old with a history of arson, with a history of crime, a history of charges. The man says she almost burned down homes. I wonder how many children was in those homes, since they so focused on these were children and they just broke into a home and all of that. How many children was in the homes that this little 14-year-old arsonist laid up there and was almost gonna burn down, y'all? How many kids was in them homes? What about those kids? Since it's everybody else's fault, let's continue.
They were able to walk away. I don't know about their parents and what role they play.
You don't know about them, huh? If that was us, they'll be speculating. The father's nowhere to be found. The father's Block Talk News. He's a drunken alcoholic, basically a scum. He once joined the military. He was kicked out because he was just a scum of the earth. They'll say every last vile thing they can say about me. The mother was a welfare queen and a crack addicted, strung out hooker. They'll say everything. You did. They'll dig in deep, but then I don't know about the parents. Can't really say much. Probably meth heads somewhere, but then they'll victimize them and say how much they need medicine and help and treatment. But not the crack epidemic when they locked our mothers and fathers and everybody else up that they can find with dark skin, black skin, by the way, nobody else. Let's continue. You are witnessing the rebel network.
Well, certainly there's breakdowns there in both the family as well as the juvenile justice
breakdowns, huh?
Let me play a little bit of what the sheriff actually said about all of this to my colleague Allison Camerata yesterday.
Look at her. Look how sad her face look, y'all.
All I kept was going through my mind is, what are these deputies thinking that they have to return fire on a 12 or 14-year-old? Their moms and dads, I know some of them, their kids are that same age. And, well, thank God nobody was killed. I don't know what the residual effects are going to be on some of these deputies.
Yeah, I mean,
thank God nobody was killed. I wonder what would have happened if them white kids was killed. If this the reaction they got, how it's everybody else's fault, boy, I think they would have been on here crying. I think they would have went and got Van Jones. He would have cried. Remember, what that was, Sandy Hook, how Obama, oh, them kids, we got to change gun laws and everything, y'all, during his administration. He cried on camera. Everything, y'all, and quickly attacked all type of gun laws. He was about to change everything. We got to make sure this is tougher to get these guns and everything like that. You understand me? But with Trayvon, that could have been my son. Ain't no crying. Any boy, that could have been my little son right there. He didn't try to even change gun laws or fake like he would change them. But he did for them. But let's continue. Look how somber, look how sad it is over here. They ain't talking about white on white crime right now.
You know this, Sheriff Chief.
Oh yeah, I know.
I know him.
Oh, I know.
Well, first of all, I know Chitwood very, very well. He's from Philly originally.
I don't care if you knew him.
Police chief, but he's absolutely right. People don't think about.
No, people don't think about.
Police officers.
No, we don't think about the trauma that police officers go through because they murder ours all the time. As soon as one of theirs get into a little scuffle with them, in which they use every precautionary measurement they could. Oh, it's all over the news. These police did the right thing. And think about the psyche of these policemen. Nobody ever thinks about that. Think about the psyche of Trayvon mother. Think about the psyche of Sean Bell mother. Knowing that the kid, Sean Bell, was shot, 50 times in the street? Think about the psyche of his mother. Think about the psyche of George Floyd kids. I ain't even hear y'all discuss that. Think about that psyche. And the young black males who see their mothers, fathers, uncles, grandpas, grandmothers, grandfathers, everybody being shot down and murdered by this tyrannical system. Think about their psyche. Well, I'm thinking about it, though. You are witnessing a Rebel Network. Let's continue to quick skim through, y'all.
Undergo in these situations. I mean, here you got a 12-year-old and 14-year-old. Now imagine you've got a 12-year-old or 11-year-old and maybe a 15-year-old or so at home. I mean,
first of all, if I do, the key word is they at home because I'm taking care of them. And if I'm not, y'all would have been on the news saying how much of a bad parent I am. So don't try to compare that kid to mine. You've probably got a 12-year-old or a 14-year-old in your home. You've got to be saddened as well. Nah, mine would have been taken care of. They would have knew right from wrong. And by the way, if they had gotten to this type of situation, they would have been murdered right now. And everybody wouldn't have been looking all somber. She wouldn't be looking like she about to cry. You wouldn't even be looking like that. The sheriff wouldn't have came out and said, man, ain't nobody coming to no job to be shooting out with no little children and all that. Y'all wouldn't have been like that. You would have had people criminal record on file. You would have talked about elementary fights. You would have talked about the first time they smoked weed. You would have found their worst enemy and did an interview with them. You would have had every excuse. You would have talked about black on black crime and everything. Let's continue since they talking about if it was your kid. If it was your kid, black audience, who should be the only audience, your kid will be dead. If you sympathizing right now, but I'm not advocating that the police murder children or children murder the police. Let's continue. You are witnessing the Rebel Network.
Do you really want to shoot that kid? But you may
kid, teenager.
Those are the kinds of things that police officers can be confronted with. It's just not a good situation for anybody. That's
poor situation. Not their job. They sworn to do this. This is the situations that they joined the force for. They knew that situations like these might occur.
Concerned with this.
Yeah, the system for sure.
The system again.
Definitely exposed to.
Whoever took a shot, anytime we heard system failure or failure system, juvenile justice system failure, you should be Woody the Wino drunk right now. You should be Woodrow the Wino drunk right now.
Hearing that officer just say, like, don't make me do this is just gut-wrenching.
Yeah, it's gut-wrenching, huh? I never heard it before. It's shocking to me. It's gut-wrenching for her, y'all, but it's shocking for us. Oh, the police told y'all that? Oh, don't make me do this? Wow. I ain't never saw him say that for nobody else. Wow. It's shocking for us. but gut wrenching for her. Oh, this gut wrenching. Let's continue our little skim through for people who might not have seen.
We're all at a loss for words. I mean, the deputies out there, their moms and dads, they have kids the same exact age.
Repeating that line.
From our perspective, we get this thing called restorative justice thrown down our throats. Restorative justice is great for kids who are round pegs that you can fit into round holes. But how about the kids that are violent and suffer from different mental disorders?
These kids don't suffer from any mental disorders that we know of so far, y'all. And if you see that they are after this video, then hey, I apologize beforehand. But as we know it, the only one who have a medical issue is the 12-year-old boy who is uncontrollably violent. That's the words of his ex-foster parent. And he have diabetes. Other than that, we know of no other issues. And we just not heard him repeat the line of, oh, it was the system, y'all. The system. Let's continue.
But how about the kids that are violent and suffer from different mental disorders? You can't put them in that round hole. They need to be in a secure facility, and some of them, they need to be under constant supervision.
It's the facility, y'all.
And getting constant treatment.
Oh, you know what? See, that's why I like to watch stuff over and over. They say since this young man violent and uncontrollable, their words, that he should be supervised in a great facility where he supervised 24 hours. Now think about the black on black crime victims or stereotype. Do they say these Crips and Bloods so violent? We need to get a certain type of facility to rehabilitate them. We need to get the right homes to put the juveniles in. The system failed the Crips and the Bloods, the vice lords and everybody else. The system did this. Do you hear that? But they the ones who they paint as so violent. These men are shooting each other up with AK-47s on the street. You know how the news be, especially local news. These gangs are taking over streets, shooting everyone up, starting from ages 12 to 18. But them, oh, these poor children, will put the system on trial. Yeah, it was the system. Yeah. Let's continue.
Needs to be in a secure facility, and some of them, they need to be under constant supervision and getting constant treatment. What we're learning about the 12-year-old, that one of his foster parents had called and said that when he was placed there by the Department of Children and Families, nobody told her about his violent tendencies and how uncontrollable he was. As a foster mom, I said, I couldn't take care of him. I think that the system lied to me. This is a kid.
Lady said she couldn't even take care of him. That's how violent he was, which means he was beating that woman. What else is there? If that's all he told us, we know that there's some stories that woman told him. Probably said that this dude was lighting cats on fire, torturing dogs and other animals. You dig? She couldn't parent him, that woman said. I couldn't even parent him. But we don't hear that being repeated. We just hear about how much of a victim the 12 and 14-year-old is. But if that was your 12-year-old, he's going to be tried as an adult. You know how many times they would have said that? As many times as you heard them say system failure during this video, they would have said tried as an adult at least 50 times. Tried as an adult. We don't know if he's going to get tried as an adult, putting the question out there. Tried as an adult. Well, this kid knowingly fired, as we know about this 12-year-old diabetic. If your kid was a 12-year-old who shot at a cop, they wouldn't even told us that boy was a diabetic, first of all. And they let alone when they say, man, he might have would have had the little boy, the little black dude was a diabetic. You really think they would have told us that? All we would have heard about is they should have been tried as an adult. And the 14-year-old, she even assembled the weapon, which is what they've been holding out from us, that the girl assembled the weapon. If that was a little girl, that black Negro went in there and assembled a AK-47. We know the Negroes, that's their weapon of choice. She assembled an AK-47 and she shot at our police. CNN and Fox. For those of you who think CNN your friend, look what they doing. And I'm only showing you what they show us and breaking it down. Am I a hater? Am I hating on their pockets? Are you gonna ask CNN? Know what, CNN? Y'all always talking about black people. What y'all do for the community? Is anybody gonna walk up to this anchor woman and say, you always talking about the community? You don't never do nothing. All you do is talk, CNN. Like y'all want to tell me, all y'all doing is talking. Nah, that's just how you go back to sleep, though. I know. Because you wouldn't dare ask CNN there. All y'all do is talk about when y'all gonna do something in the community, CNN, MSNBC, Fox. You are witnessing the Rebel Network.
He needs intense counseling. He needs intense supervision. And clearly,
You still on that?
A failure, Sheriff.
Failure again. Take a shot.
How did these children
try it as an adult, your kid?
Manage to get that
children.
Cash. I mean, including an AK-47, literally a weapon of war. How did they manage to get their hands on it?
Yeah, let's back up and I'll tell you how it starts.
Don't back up.
When the 12-year-old and the 14-year-old.
See, he backs up so he don't immediately answer that question. That way he can beat around the bush and paint them as, birds, as we about to see. At 5 a.m, we got a call about a diabetic little baby bird boy. Watch. Let's continue. Hold on.
Juvenile home. When the 12-year-old and the 14-year-old walk off of the non-secure juvenile home that they're living in. The 12-year-old suffers from and he needs his insulin every 4 hours. So
quickly.
Call to runaways that obviously in the call is, hey, this kid at any moment could have a medical emergency. So that's the auspice that starts this. The deputies are out trying to locate.
Let me tell y'all something right now. A medical emergency is different than a crime. And a medical emergency is different than a crime. Oh, this black kid, he has diabetes and he's missing. So just watch out. He might have a medical emergency. He might commit a crime. Y'all see how that sounds? Watch out. There's a white diabetic on the loose and he might commit a crime. For real? Because he a diabetic. He's on the loose. A medical emergency is not a crime. If they would have got a medical alert that said, oh, a child is passed out here, that, and the third, that's what they would be on alert for, huh? Not a crime. Oh, we got another loose diabetic, man. A crime is about to be committed because we know how these diabetics be when they have an episode, man. They just been rampant across America. Every time they have an episode, they robbing, killing, shooting at police, trying to take our heads off, talking about they gonna roll us like a GTA. Wow. Let's continue to skim through. Thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing, people. Real talk. Let's continue.
12-year-old, they get him back to a safe house before he had to.
Safe house.
Around 7, a couple times we spot them, they run from us, and around 7:30, there's a real popular bike trail that runs behind that home. We get alerted to a young juvenile male, a young juvenile female. Just
let's pause it right there. Several times. Couldn't catch a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old. Several times they ran away from them. For real? How incompetent are y'all? But y'all so on alert that a medical emergency might happen, but you can't even catch the kids. You know how quick I would have caught a 12-year-old and 14-year-old boy and girl? Come on, y'all. And I ain't even in the best shape. Let's continue.
Smashed glass and entered into a residence.
And let's remember, the question was, how did these kids get their hands on this type of weaponry? The type of weaponry that's used in war. That was what the question was.
And when they ransacked the residence, they recovered the firearms that the homeowner had locked away inside of his home. And the homeowner tells us the AK-47 was disassembled. So we really want to know how they learned how to assemble the AK-47.
Jesus.
You heard that? Not the baby boy, not the diabetic. How did he do it? Not the 14-year-old female arsonist who almost burnt down multiple homes that might have had children in them. How did she assemble that AK-47, y'all? But they don't tell you that until the end of the story, in which they know most Americans don't have a long attention span. So I'm just running back through this, which is why I'm replaying this for people who hop in or whatever. Let's continue because we almost done, y'all. Showing you how they operate.
What would you do, Sheriff? You talk about rehabilitation programs. We heard your emphatic plea in the Tuesday night press conference. As someone who has had so much experience in policing but has never seen something like this before, can I ask what you would recommend for the rehabilitation of?
Now they got recommendations for rehab. See, just like they do for their drug addicts. While all of y'all want to talk about, let's report on a crackhead. Oh, look at this crazy crackhead. Oh, you a crackhead. Demoralizing people, laughing at them and making jokes of them, like Master P, I got the hookup, making jokes about a crackhead. Look what they do. Our meth heads, they need treatment. Let's give them clean syringes. Let's make sure they have a safe environment. Let's give them a little bit of heroin. That way it just takes the edge off, because they're never really going to quit. You dig? Let's just give them enough to survive or get them through the day. But with your mothers, fathers, grandfathers, grandmothers, lock them in jail years at a time for possessing crack, knowing that they was using. Give them the harshest sentencing. Now, for the criminals, look what they doing. Oh, let's see about what's the recommendations for rehab. The system failed our children. But when they talk about black on black crime and your children, well, they on these streets, they're violent, they're criminals. We don't know what to do. We're afraid. We need this kind of protection, these kind of laws. Anybody talking about how to rehab the Crips and Bloods, how to rehab the vice lords and everybody? Let's rehab, all of this area beef, 3rd Street and 4th Street and all of that. Areas we don't even own. Region beef, East and West. Do they talk about all of that? No. Continue. You are witnessing a rebel network.
Of kids, like proposals for fixing a system that you say is broken?
The system.
Absolutely. The model has to be turned upside down on its head. The bureaucracy needs to be blown up.
Look at him. Turn the whole model upside down. Blow up everything. You heard him? Blow up everything. We still ain't hearing about the charges they need to be facing. Talking about they've been faced with several charges, 1 attempt murder. Only 1 is 2 kids. Are 2 of them being tried with that same attempt murder? They should be. Are they being charged with burglary? They should be. Are they being charged with many more crimes I can go look up? They should be. Is that 14-year-old female arsonist gonna get extra time for having a criminal history of burning down 6 lots in a few homes? Is they gonna talk about the history of that uncontrollably violent 12-year-old boy? The words of his foster parent who said she couldn't parent him? Are they even talking about that? No, they talking about rehab right now.
Men and women that work in the Department of Juvenile Justice. There are professional people that work at the Department of Children and Families. But they're the ground level workers. They're the ones that have the solution. They see these kids. They know what programs work and what programs
They did tell us, Sheriff, sorry to interrupt, but they did tell us this morning, Department of Juvenile Justice, this was not one of their programs, not one of their
Look.
But continue.
Well, they're not telling you the truth, because what they do is
You heard her? She said the juvenile justice system said that that's not one of their homes. The man replied that, well, they not telling the truth, y'all. Let me try to make sure that I rewind it accurately. Did y'all hear that? Man said, well, they are not telling the truth. Look.
One of their programs, not one of their homes, but continue.
Well, they're not telling you the truth, because what they do is they score every juvenile that comes in contact with us.
Exactly, and I know this.
They decide whether they're going to place them in secure custody or not. The female set 6 lots on fire, almost burned houses to the ground.
You heard that? She burned 6 lots on fire, almost burned houses to the ground. On top of that, that man said the juvenile justice system have to school every kid. So they're going to make sure that he's in a certain facility to make sure that he can get that schooling, bro. So yes, they absolutely lying. The people who supposed to protect justice and honor and bestow morals and values, they lying. It wasn't our facility. Man, say they'll straight up lie. Let's continue.
She was arrested for arson. According to
Arson.
Juvenile justice, that doesn't score out as a serious felony, a serious crime. So they're putting these kids that are extremely violent into these low-level homes.
Then he tried to recover.
And that's where the issue becomes.
Mm-hmm. That's the issue, huh? Not some violent teens. They not the issue, huh? Let me see if I can get a picture of the little dude, y'all. Let's look around. Look, there you go. No, that ain't him. My bad. Man, let me not even scroll all the way down. Look, they don't even want to show us the picture of the little fool. Let me see if I could probably find it on Google, y'all. Thank y'all for viewing too. I didn't expect this to roll this long, but I would have thought they would have showed a picture of it. Y'all know I was breaking that down live. Let me see what Google and them say. What county was that, by the way? 12-year-old and 14-year-old. You all witnessing the Rebel Network. 12-year-old. Shootout. Just try to keep it as simple as possible to see if we could get an image, y'all. Of that dude. There you go. Bam. This him, y'all. Uncontrollably violent one right here. Look at him. Banging at them. Look at the headline. See? They propaganda is spread out. Florida runaways. Look, they not runaways. They simply walked off of that weak government facility. Runaways, 12 and 14, accused of stealing guns from home and shooting police. They accused. They accused, y'all. We just saw the evidence of them breaking into the home. We saw broken windows. We heard that they assembled a gun and shot at the police. Words of the police. But see how they protect their own? Accused. Look at them. They didn't want to show us a big picture of this little dude. Seemed like, if you ask me. But whatever, we'll take what we could get. They wrong for that. Y'all still looking at them? They had me go to a whole nother screen, y'all, which means it's time to wrap this up, basically. But you see how they do for their own? While you up there protecting them or ready to make a video about what disgraceful thing a black person did. Whenever they do something disgraceful, it's time to protect their own and buckle down on this. Come up with every excuse in the world. The system, everybody else is on trial. They barely even want to tell us about the charges with these kids, talking about several charges being extremely vague, y'all. Your kid, they'll be discussing being tried as an adult, but this is what you vote for. When you continue to become a co-conspirator in your own oppression, y'all, in your own oppression, bro. Like, it really made me mad. Because we know what these people do. And they continue. You got to choose the lesser of two evil. You're a co-conspirator, bro. But let's wrap this on up because we done broke this down. It can't even get broken down any further, I don't think. And if I left something out, my bad. Thank y'all for learning the stream with me. You know, you did, because this is my first time using it. Thank you to everybody who stuck by as I learned the stream. This is actually a whole different video than the video I was supposed to do because I was still trying to figure out how to go from page to page or whatever. But y'all know I'm going to have it down next time. So thank y'all for watching, liking, viewing, subscribing, and all of that, you dig? As y'all could see, we growing. We trying to get better and better at this and more consistent, you dig? Once again, y'all holler at me.